Hello everyone, my name is PolishLynx. We are back in Everlasting Summer after a really nice situation on the beach, I guess. And I guess after, well, at least similar night, which we haven't seen unfortunately. Okay, an irresistible bleeding morning glare struck my eyes. I wasn't able to stretch. Masha was sleeping on my left arm. I barely managed to pull my limb from under her head and massaged it for a long time, trying to restore the blood flow. Scratching my stubble, I reached for my shorts to find my cigarettes. Perhaps we shouldn't have gone that far yesterday, after all. So it was like I thought. Now she definitely won't leave me alone. Well, probably not. That's not in her nature. But a bad aftertaste will still remain. And now she has an argument to scold me if I just give her one chance to. Yet another argument. It's not like she's short on them. Unable to find the cigarettes in my shorts, I thought that I must have left them behind my cabin, so I clumsily dressed and went outside. Oh Lord, let it rain at last. It's impossible to work in such an oven. And it's like this day and night and day. Rubbing my eyes, I plodded down the trail and didn't notice somebody coming until they ran right into me. It was Ruther. Hi Semyon! Hi there. I shouted after him. Finally I came to the cabin, opened the door and entered. Olga Dmitrievna was inside. She drilled me with her gaze. Would you care to explain? What's the matter? Where did you spend the whole night? She looked more than menacing. I was with Masha, and what's the problem? After all, everyone got it already, so it makes absolutely no sense to hide it. With who? Olga Dmitrievna gave me a surprised glance. With Masha, I repeated calmly. We don't have any Mashas here. Now it's my turn to be surprised. Semyon, your behavior is unbecoming of a true pioneer. What the fuck? Are we shooting already? But where are the cameras? I grinned. Semyon! Ah, come on. I headed to my bed and opened the drawer. However, my backpack wasn't there. Have you seen my backpack? A backpack? She looked at me in surprise. Yeah, it was here. But you arrived here without any luggage. What? I broke into a silly smile. And I still haven't finished yet. Olga Dmitrievna, I get it that you're in the finest of moods this morning and you have an eagerness to joke around, but how can I feel fine when a pioneer, a future Komsomol member, is cycling like that? A pioneer, a Komsomol member, something is definitely going wrong. Olga Dmitrievna, have you slept well? Are you okay? How dare you speak to me like that? What's your problem? To sum up, you need to be at the lineup in half an hour. As for me, I still need to find Miku. Miku? What the... It looks like they just want to play and prank on us. Ma'am, yes ma'am. I saluted and marched out of the cabin. I have to go and tell Masha, share some laughter with her. I vigorously pushed the cabin's door open and ran in. Masha, you won't believe what they... Masha was sitting on the corner of a bed with an absolutely pale face, wrapping her arms around her legs. What happened? I leaped to her side. Lena just came in. Lena. But she wasn't planning to come for another 3 days. It wasn't our Lena. It was just something that looked like her. Masha was trembling and an expression of horror was on her face. Calm down. Let's take it slowly. She was talking about some kind of lineup, cleaning up the grounds, about the library, about the music club. Did they end up actually in the loop? Her breathing became rapid. And it wasn't a joke, I'm sure of it. I recalled the recent conversation with Olga Dmitrievna at once. Okay, calm down, I still haven't got a thing. It wasn't our Lena, it was the Lena from her script. She raised her tear-filled eyes to me. I understood right away that this wasn't a joke, and my courage vanished. That's ridiculous, it just can't be. Before recalling the conversation with the director. No, I'm sure. She threw herself into my arms. I tried to calm her down. We have to think logically. It's just them trying to pull a prank on us. That's all. I was just talking to Olga Dmitrievna and she... And she's what? Also look unusual to me. Nah, I can't just say that to Masha. In the end, they will have their love and then quit it. No, something has happened. Something horrible. I'm sure of it. Masha was sobbing in my arms. Okay, let's get down to it. Let's talk to someone. For example, Truther. He surely isn't the main stand-up comedian in our hood. To tell the truth, at this point I was interested myself in finding out what kind of joke this was. One that can bring Masha, who is always calm and prepared for everything, to hysterics. Okay. She wiped away her tears and got up from the bed. Calm down now. I'm trying. Masha smiled faintly. Let's go. We left the cabin. Where to? Olga Dmitrievna was talking about some kind of lineup. Let's go to the square. Most likely, they will be there. I think I just broke my headphones a little bit. Yeah, I was right. Ah, crap. It will take time to repair it. Alright. I chose not to look in her direction because I already knew what expression she had on her face and just headed to the square. The lineup, if that is the right term of our people flocking around the monument, was quite crowded. I didn't recognize even a half of people gathered here, and that fact was extremely strange on its own. Olga Dmitrievna tried to line up them all up. I chose not to linger and went up to her. Olga Dmitrievna, I know... Oh, and Miko is here too. She interrupted me. Excellent, we will talk after the lineup. What lineup are you talking about? Isn't it enough playing games? For God's sake, it's not funny anymore. She looked at me in confusion. What are you talking about? About that. Masha cautiously looked out from behind my back. Olga Dmitrievna, it really isn't funny anymore. I don't understand you two. Let's seriously get back to the shooting. What shooting? I looked at her attentively and for the first time realized that perhaps she wasn't joking. Olga Dmitrievna was never a decent actress, so I doubt that this expression of surprise and incomprehension was fake. What a mess. Okay, let's assume. Tell us your version. Version of what? She was still blinking her eyes while looking at my mouth. I got it. I grabbed Masha by her arm and headed away from the square. Hey, hold on! Where are you going? We have to find someone less insane. Olga Dmitrievna's shouts followed us, but I didn't pay any attention. Soon enough, we reached the clubhouse. According to the script, it ought to be right here. Let's go. Masha didn't reply, just followed my lead. I opened the door abruptly and walked in. Rother was there, as I had expected. What's happening? Ah, Semyon, and you're not alone. Hi there! Have you come here to join our club? It seemed that there was something wrong with him too. Why aren't you at the lineup? I asked mischievously. Well, I've got something to finish here. Whatever. Just tell us what's going on here. Am I missing something? Just like Olga Dmitrievna, he stared at me with no sign of understanding. Why the heck is everyone around acting like we are real pioneers in a real pioneer camp? Isn't that the case? Is it? Well, actually. And what about the film? What film? The film, the one we are filming. Semyon, I really don't understand what you're talking about. It's only now that I realize that everyone around is calling me Semyon. Well, Sasha was always calling me Semyon-kun too. But that was clearly a joke, while here... It's not a big thing, but my name is definitely not Semyon. I stepped back in horror and tripped over Masha. She let out a short scream. And Miku! I was listening. I snatched Masha's hand and ran out. I managed to halt only at the bus stop. As I turned around, I saw Masha gasping for breath. I let go of her hand and sat down on the edge of the road. Looks like the two of us are in trouble. Hey, don't you get it? Everyone here behaves exactly the same as it was written in my script. She stared blankly at me for some time, then she recovered. Yeah, fair guess. But what? Why? Like I would know. So what are we gonna do? I don't know. Masha was on the edge of bursting into tears. Oh, stop it. I really have no idea. How can I come up with a ready-made solutions in this situation? I understand, but... After all, there is still possibility of it all being a silly joke. Well, an overdone one. But what if... Well, if... Then we'll act in accordance with the circumstances. I sighed and quickly stood up. Let's go eat something at least. I think that whatever is happening here, food will still be served. Masha gave a barely noticeable smile and followed me. The canteen was jam-packed. Even at the lineup, I noticed that there were many more people than there were yesterday. Did all these children really come here to an abandoned camp? No, there is something really wrong about that. However, food was being distributed, so me and Masha took trays and sat down separately from the others. I ate intently, trying not to raise my head up from the plate and not to look at the surrounding people. However, it didn't help me much. In a couple of minutes someone showed up near our table. I barely managed to raise my eyes and saw Lena. "Can I?" she asked quietly. "Yeah, suit yourself." While I was thinking as to how I should answer, Masha pulled out a chair beside her and invited Lena to sit down with a gesture. "You weren't yourself this morning," she began anxiously. "Well, got up on the wrong side of the bed." Masha laughed nervously. Lena glanced at me and then quickly looked away. "So, how is it going?" I started with more general questions. "Fine." "I see." I genuinely had no idea of what can we discuss with her. Plus, Lena indeed looked pretty odd. While she was usually all fun and high spirits, now she looked extremely timid and shy. "Did you hear anything about Slavya?" "What happened?" "Well, nobody has seen her since yesterday. It's like you two disappeared first. Now you are here, but Slavya is..." She left long pauses after each of her sentences. I still didn't get it. Either it's completely perfect acting or the being sitting in front of us wasn't our Lena. "No, we haven't seen her." "Well, I hope she will be back eventually." "Yeah, we hope so too." Slavya. Sasha indeed could lose her way in broad daylight. That's hardly surprising. I was just finishing eating the rubber-like oatmeal when suddenly Olga Dmitrievna ran to the canteen, waving her hands. She looked around motionlessly, and after a glance at me, she finally headed towards our table at a fast walk. "Oh, here you are! Let's go have a talk!" she hissed below her breath right at my face. Seemed that objecting wasn't worth it, so I got up, nodded at Masha, and we headed after Olga Dmitrievna. After we got outside, she turned around abruptly and said, "So, where were you last night?" "Should you care?" I shrugged. "I should. Did you know that Slavya is missing?" "Just heard that from Lena." "Exactly. I went searching for her and found her." It looked like she was desperately fighting back tears. "That's good news then." "Come, let me show you." She sat quietly and headed in the direction of the forest. I looked at Masha. "Maybe we shouldn't." "What's wrong with it?" However, my inner voice was agreeing with her. "Alright then, but I'm afraid." "Everything will be fine." I tried smiling, but even without a mirror, it was obvious that my smile was so fake that it made me sick. Soon enough, we came to a small glade. "There." Gentirna pointed at a tree. "What the f—" I took a few steps and suddenly spotted a detached human arm. "What the fuck?" In fact, it wasn't even detached, more like it had been torn off. Masha peered out from behind my shoulder and screamed in a terror straight away. "Don't look." She burst into tears and rushed in Olga Dmitrievna's arms. I made a considerable effort. I had to look behind the tree and to ensure that it was indeed Slavya. Body parts were lying there, an arm, a leg ruptured in several places, a piece of flesh from the chest, a head with hair clothed with blood and deeply sunken glassy eyes. What the fuck? I felt like vomiting and instinctively averted my gaze. "Who did this?" "How would I know?" said Olga Dmitrievna in a surprisingly stone-cold voice. "Throughout the camp, you're the only ones without an alibi." Masha continued to cry, now on my shoulder. "What? You seriously think that we are able to do this?" I gazed at her in fury. Now it didn't matter that much what was happening here. Silly jokes or something more serious. A person had been murdered. A person who we knew. Slavya or Sasha, it makes no difference. "Well, no." She hesitated. "But someone did it after all." "I would say some wild animals, probably wolves." There were never any wolves around. So, you think a human could have done it? Well, there is no one else to blame. No, that makes no sense at all. It just can't. I held Masha tighter. Her sobbing became quieter. Anyway, we have to call the police. Of course we have to. Let's do it. Go. The district center is pretty far from the camp. The police won't get here anytime soon. Night was falling. I was sitting at a square and watching the sunset. Masha was sleeping in Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. It all shocked her much more than us. For many reasons. There were two main questions in mind. First, what is happening here? And second, who murdered Slavya? Or Sasha. Anyway, who's the murderer? The first one could be postponed for the time being. I would say that's the guy from the other dimension, actually. But I still had no clue how to deal with the second one. Despite all the confusion, the conclusion of her being savaged by wild beasts seemed to be the most reasonable explanation. I don't care if there are any wolves here or not. It could even be a bear or a badger, but certainly not a human. No one would be able to do something like that without additional tools. And the type of wounds made it clear that the unfortunate victim had been dismembered with bare hands or paws. For it's true enough that an enraged human can gain nearly superhuman strength. But of all the people gathered here, who would be able to do something like that? Ruter, Lena, maybe Olga Dmitrievna herself? No, that's stupid. But even so, there were many children apart from them in the canteen and at the square. But am I really going to interrogate every single one of them? That's a job for the police. Then, what's there to be afraid of? Maybe I'm not afraid for myself, but for Masha. Right, I need to check how she's doing. I was just about to get up when suddenly I sensed someone's presence. Alright. Wow. I completely didn't expect something like that. You know, Lena's bad ending compared to this is nothing at all, I guess. Well, it was also very hard for emotions, but god damn it, this one was something, well, from a higher level in my opinion. Alright, let's end this here and we'll see what's going on in the camp in the next episode. Bye.